Hello. Just want to introduce you all to the newest member of my musical family. This is ukulele number 820 from Bean Sprout Musical Instruments. My friend Erin made this, and I just am, I can't stop playing it. I can't keep my hands off it. I can't stop singing with it. It's just beautiful. I'm so grateful and I'm so excited for this journey that we have ahead of us together, this instrument and I. When I originally talked to Erin about what woods I wanted for the instrument here, I wanted an instrument of Pacific Northwest wood, and one of the things that I really appreciate about Erin's work is how intentional and what thought he gives into creating an instrument, not just for the artist that he's working with, but also with this deep knowledge of wood in general, and with this commitment to using salvaged wood that would otherwise be thrown away, or wood that had a previous life already and can be given this sort of third life, if you will, as an instrument, and is just conscious of the stories that this wood brings with it. So I was just so excited when he said he knew exactly what he was going to put together. We've got some western red cedar here on the top, which used to be a water tower, first in Seattle and then later on Vashon Island. I don't know whether these kind of what I think of as watermarks are actually from the water, but I like to believe there's a little bit of that water in here. The sides and the back are walnut. This, my understanding, was taken from a stump, which is why it's kind of so curly in here and shaped this way. And I love how it's kind of a Rorschach test in and of itself. Looks a little bit like a fish or like a turtle with the fins out, or there's a mountain at the bottom, whatever you want to see in it at any particular day. The back of this neck here is from one of my all-time favorite trees, that is the Douglas fir tree, and it was a floor joist, which I did not even know. I had to look up what that actually is. It's part of one of the pieces that keeps the floor nice and supported, right? But I didn't know that you could use a floor joist and turn it into an instrument neck, so I was very excited about that, and especially just because I love the Douglas fir tree. And I believe that the top here is also walnut, just keeping it pretty simple, which is kind of how I roll. And I wanted these Pacific Northwest woods in here because I was, what feels like a gazillion years ago now, was an environmental educator on Bainbridge Island, close to Seattle. And it was the first place where I felt like I really was on a first name basis with the natural world around me, and so I'll always feel that very special connection to the species of this area of the world. Not that I didn't feel a connection to the natural world before, but there's something about really getting to know the species by name and to interact with them. And I love living in the Pacific Northwest, and so I wanted an instrument that I could, that could be a part of the Northwest as well. Erin and I were talking, so the sound of it, we were talking about the sound and trying to describe the sound and why it's so great. And what was funny was we had sort of opposite words for it. He said, this is so breathy, right? And that's so true. But I felt like it was so clear and present as well. And I think the more I've played it, I've landed on the fact that it's both. It's both, has this very breathy attack to it. It's got some nice air around it. But also has this clarity to it and this presence that I don't feel like any of the instruments I've had before have had. And I love that it's actually very well suited to my own performance style and what I think of, for my own performance voice. There's a gentleness to it, right? I'm not too harsh on the ears, so to speak. Not that there is anything wrong with that. That's just not my style. But there's sustenance. It's like gentle and full-bodied at the same time, and that I think is going to be just a wonderful complement to the kind of writing that I do, the kind of performing that I do. So I'm just can't can't get over how much I love this instrument and am excited for our adventures together, and to share it with all of you in videos to come, and also in performances live as well. I hope you'll get a chance to meet this lovely new family member in person. So let me play you a song. I actually just wrote a new song that is inspired by, this is like fits right in with the whole theme here. Brought to you by many things, but I will say more than anything, brought to you by the Magic School Bus, this science book series. In particular, my son Oscar and I have been reading Lost in the Solar System and Human Evolution. And it's a song that reflects a bit on just how this present moment fits into this wide span of time and space that we exist in. And I find that so appropriate for having received this instrument, which brings with it all the stories that this wood has to tell, all the different woods as well. So this song is called The End of the Sky. You and I are the blink of an eye, going round the sun, just a speck in the sky. Something so small can be something so big at the same time. I know why, I know why. Powers of 10, again and again, to the end of the sky and back to you and I, going round the sun. Me and you, we got nothing to do but pass the time as we pass on through. The days are too long, the years are too short at the same time. I know why, I know why. Ringing the bell, back down the well, to the very first cell and back to me and you, just passing the time. Hold on, let go. How far does it go? Powers of 10, again and again, to the end of the sky. Follow the path, narrow and vast, but there's no coming back from loving you. You and I, just passing on through on this speck in the sky. Thanks again so much for listening, and also a huge thank you again to Aaron Keim and his family, Nicole and Henry of Beansprout Musical Instruments. I'll include a link below to the video Aaron made about this instrument before he passed it along to me. I encourage you to follow his work, just wonderful, intentional, artistic work, just the way that art should be. I'm so grateful, and again, just can't wait to share my adventures with this instrument with you all as well. Thanks for listening.